What happens when your GPU upgrade dreams hit a power supply roadblock? Picture this. You're hyped to level up your graphics card, but then you realize your power supply might not have the right connectors. It's a buzzkill, right? Well, hang tight because we're about to dive deep into this, break it down with some real world stories, and figure out the smartest way to keep your setup running smooth. So, here's the deal. Imagine you're planning to upgrade your GPU. Maybe you're rocking a GTX 1080 right now, which needs one 8-pin and one 6-pin connector. Your CPU's already hogging an 8-pin, and you've got a new power supply on the way with two 8-pin PCIe ports and one Gen 5 port. Sounds solid, but here's the catch. You're one connector short for the GPU. So, you start wondering, can I just grab a converter to turn that shiny new Gen 5 port into two 8-pin connectors? It's a clever thought, and I'll bet plenty of you have stared at those ports thinking the same thing. Let's unpack this. The Gen 5 standard is the latest power delivery tech, built for next-gen GPUs that demand more juice. It's efficient, it's sleek, and it's the future. But here's the kicker. Converting a Gen 5 port back to two 8-pin connectors isn't something you see every day. I've scoured forums, tech sites, even the sketchy corners of online marketplaces, and these adapters, they're like unicorns, rare if they exist at all. And honestly, even if you found one, I wouldn't trust it. Why? Power delivery is a finicky beast. A converter might work on paper, but in practice, you're risking unstable voltage or even frying your gear. That's not a gamble I'd take with a pricey GPU. Let me paint you a picture. A while back, I knew a guy, let's call him Mike. Mike was stoked to slap an RTX 3080 into his rig, but his old power supply only had two 8-pin connectors, and the 3080 wanted three. He found a cheap splitter online, one 8-pin to two, and thought he'd cracked the code. Spoiler alert, he hadn't. A week later, he's texting me about random crashes mid-game, glitchy screens, the works. Turns out that splitter couldn't handle the load consistently. Mike ended up swapping out his power supply for one with native connectors, and boom, problem solved. Moral of the story, quick fixes can backfire big time. So what's the play here? If your power supply doesn't have enough connectors, like say it's a 650 watt or 750 watt unit that skimps on the 8 pins, you've got a choice. The smartest move is to grab a power supply that's ready to roll with your GPU out of the box. Think 1000 watt units, they often come loaded with three 8-pin connectors and one or two Gen 5 ports. That's enough for your 1080 today and a beastly Gen 5 GPU tomorrow. Don't just chase wattage though, check the connector count. A 1000 watt power supply with two 8-pins is no better than a 750 watts, with the same setup if the connectors don't match your needs. Now let's say your power supply is already shipped and it's got that Gen 5 port but not enough 8-pins. You're not totally sunk. One option, flip the script. Sell that 1080 and upgrade to a GPU that uses Gen 5, like an RTX 4070. Yeah, the 1080 won't fetch top dollar anymore, maybe $60, $70, but it could offset the cost and you'd future-proof your rig. Risky? Sure. But it's a bold move if you're stuck with a mismatched power supply and can't return it. Here's where I weigh in. Cutting corners with adapters or splitters is a trap. Your power supply is the backbone of your system. Skimp on compatibility and you're begging for trouble. I'd rather spend a little extra upfront on a unit with the right ports than roll the dice on a converter and end up with a dead GPU. It's like buying cheap tires for a sports car. Sooner or later, you'll feel the regret. To wrap this up, if you're eyeing a GPU upgrade, do the legwork. Match your power supply's connectors to your GPU's needs. If they don't line up, invest in one that does. It's that simple. A solid setup now means less stress and more frames later. Catch you next time.
If you enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe and hit the bell to the later update from my channel. Thank you for watching till the end and see you in the next video.